Hello and welcome to the Happytans podcast. On today's episode, we have Pamela Price from Priceless Beauty in Toronto, or Ajax, Canada. How are you doing today, Pamela?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me on, Grant. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for being on. We're excited. We connected through Slay the Spray, actually, I guess last year, which was awesome. We'll be back there again this year. Actually, probably around the time this episode comes out, which is cool. But it'll be nice to reconnect. And anyway, I would love to open up the floor for a second for those that don't know who you are or your journey through and in the sunless industry. I'd love for you to share that so everybody can learn a little bit about you.
Sure, I will, of course. So, hey guys, my name is Pamela Price. I am the founder of Priceless Beauty. We're located, like Grant mentioned, just outside of Toronto in a suburb called Ajax, Ontario. I started in the sunless industry because I have a background in makeup. So I was a makeup educator, and I also worked for MAC Cosmetics for, oh my gosh, off and on for about 8 years. In between, I had babies and I was freelancing, but off and on for that brand for quite a while. And I had got a spray tan for my birthday, first ever experience with a spray tan. And this will date me because she sprayed me with the airbrush gun, the whole body.
45
So
minutes?
you know what? I can't remember how long the appointment
Sure.
was because I was just so mesmerized by the entire experience that I could get a tan like that because I
Yeah.
was like a sun worshiping person.
Yeah.
And I had, was actually got my doctor told me I need to relax and stop tanning. So that's when I discovered the spray tanning. And because I was already doing airbrush makeup, I seen the girl spraying me and I thought, like, I could do this. I
Mm,
could totally do this.
sure. Yeah.
And yeah, and after it was probably just like a month or two, I found somebody online. She came to my house, she trained me, and I started spraying like literally like the next week. So
Wow.
that was my son was 6 months old, and I was literally spraying like in the side of my kitchen. Like we had a wall on the side of my kitchen, we had a privacy curtain. And that was now he's going to be 14. So that was
Uh,
about 14 years ago is when I first started spray tanning.
wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, you don't look a day over like 21, so that's you must have had
Thanks.
him really young. That's crazy. Wow, that's kind of the hustle, right? You got to get started somewhere, and you didn't make an excuse. There's no space. It's awkward. I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, people are gonna come in here, and there's this little divider up. It's like a privacy curtain in a hospital, right? It's like,
It
yeah,
was awful. I mean, the room was cute. Like, I
sure,
made it cute and private and whatever, but
sure,
they literally had to walk through my kitchen. And if my husband was like cooking, I'd have to be like, get out of
yeah.
here, like go to the back of the house. So yeah, it's humble beginnings, that's for sure.
Right. So that's about 14 years ago, then you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, crazy. Things have changed a lot, I'm sure for you. I mean, I don't even know where to start. So you started doing the tanning, and then like what happened from there? Like now, obviously there's a lot that's changed in 14 years, but what was the next
Yeah.
step for that?
Yeah. Okay, well, I kind of did it just like as a side hustle. So I was working for Mac at the time.
Yeah.
I was freelancing makeup, and spray tanning kind of like I wanted to do it so I could spray myself.
Yeah.
Little did I discover it's really freaking hard to spray
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh gosh.
It can be done, but so that was one of my motivators. But number two is I wanted it just as an add-on for my makeup service because I feel like people just look better with a tan. Their skin was
Mhm.
more even. They had more glow. They were more confident. It was easier for me to do the makeup. So for me, it was more just like, oh, do you want a spray tan too? Like you're getting married, you should have a spray tan too. I never really thought of it as a main source of income or something that could really generate a lot of money for me. And then I was operating, then we moved and I was operating out of, we had purchased a house and my business was kind of operating from a room in my basement. We
Yeah.
converted a closet into a spray tan booth, and another room was a makeup room. And it was a little more professional from the side of my kitchen. Okay. So we're
Sure.
moving up slowly and surely. And then not long after we were there, about less than a year, now this was in 2017, my neighbors started complaining that people were coming and going. There was a visitors parking. They were taking visitors parking, and we were
Sure.
part of a townhouse community. And my corporation manager, whatever, basically filed me a legal notice saying I need to stop operating my business
Mhm.
from the house.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that.
So
I get that in the US. Yeah, we have the HOAs, right? That, and they're
exactly.
like,
Yep.
no businesses can be run out. Yeah, they're pretty strict about that. So there's
Yeah.
cars on the
It's
street. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And it was weird because I know some of my neighbors were
Yeah,
doing like
yeah.
operating like a hair salon. But I was like, you know what? I spoke to my uncle, who's a mentor of mine, and he's just like, well, now's the time. You've been talking about it for years. Like,
Yeah,
you're going to go, take the next step. Do you want to move backwards or do you want to move forward?
right.
So in 3 months, I found a space, renovated, and I just opened a space with basically no idea what the hell I was doing.
Oh, wow. Wow. Is that the space you're still in today or?
So I'm not in that space currently,
Okay.
but when I had the space, I realized like I can't afford to pay this rent with my little part-time beauty
Oh, yeah,
service that I was
sure.
doing. And the beauty school actually had let me go when I told them that I was going to be opening a space. They found it was a conflict of interest. So I had no choice but to figure out like how this business was going to actually start making me a
Sure.
serious amount of money.
Sure. So what did you do to get there then? I mean, that's kind of like you're getting pushed off like there's no turning back. You're getting
Yeah.
pushed off the
Yeah.
plank, right? It's like,
Yeah. I was like, okay, I found out about ASTP. Actually, I was listening to your last episode with Shauna Dexter,
yeah.
and I attended the ASTP, which was a big leap for me. I didn't even have the money to go to that event. I remember having to call my grandma and ask her if I could borrow money for the
Oh,
plane
wow.
ticket to go because I was in this space. I had this overhead. I didn't have enough recurring clients to,
Yeah.
really sustain me. And my husband, wanted me to contribute somehow to the
Sure, sure,
household.
sure.
He's like, dude, you need to start making money. So I went to this event and I remember somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody had said, this was Vegas 2018. They said they had 200 spray tan clients in one day and they had like a 5-room salon or something. And
Jeez.
my mind was blown. I was like,
It's amazing.
what? Spray tanning is like people really like it's a big thing. Like I didn't
Yeah.
realize that spray tanning could be the main thing, right? So I just got super serious about like running a business. Like I just
Yeah.
went all in and I started growing my business. I
Yeah.
started advertising. I started learning how to use Instagram. I started marketing, advertising, reaching out to people, building an email list, like all the things, just trial and error, all
Oh,
the
yeah.
things.
Well, I know we've talked beforehand and all that. We had a good conversation. You're super into the business side of things and more technical, quote unquote. We'll call it nerdy things. A lot of people don't want to do it, but it is the things that make the difference. I feel in the business. There's so many amazing artists that don't have good businesses because they're not found online or they don't have the processes and so on and so forth. So we'll definitely dive into that. But let's fast forward
Yeah.
now from that 2018, the Vegas. What changed for you, internally, and then what was other than obviously that kind of opened your mind? It's like the whole with the Roger Bannister, the 4 minute mile. Nobody could do it, and then one person did it, and then like 60 people did it in a year,
Yeah.
right? So it just opens up people's mind. But
Yeah.
now, what changed for you? And then now, fast forward 2023, what does your business look like for you?
Sure. So, I mean, we had COVID in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, seriously.
So that was pretty crazy. So in Toronto, we were basically closed for 2 years and
Wow.
my lease was up at that time. And at that time, my landlord wasn't very favorable to helping us out in any
Sure.
way. And in between, I had figured out other ways to generate I think these are going to die. One second.
Okay.
I'm just going to go off this. Let's turn that off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, yeah, so my landlord wasn't very helpful,
Sure.
we'll put
Sure.
it that way.
Yeah.
And he had actually proposed to increase my rent by almost double at that time.
Wow.
And also, we weren't working. And in addition to that, my tenant that was renting a room told me she
Mm.
was going to be finding a new space because she had opening her own space. And my other tenant who was renting a hair chair from me, MIA'd and just ghosted me. And so I was now responsible for all of this overhead. So I decided not to renew my space. And my
Mm.
husband and I purchased a residential property with an extension. That's where I'm sitting right now.
Oh,
And
wow.
we could actually operate kind of like low key
Sure.
during the pandemic. And so, yeah, so that's where we've been operating. But in terms of like what the business looks like, I started to grow my spray tan clients and other services to the point where I wasn't able to take care of those clients on my own any longer. So
Mhm.
we're doing maybe like 60 to 100 weddings a year, full service makeup, hair, spray tanning. And I was starting like a couple days, I had like 15, 16 clients like back to back.
Wow.
And I started getting tired.
Yeah.
I started getting tired, and in between, I was starting to learn how to automate things and how to implement technology, and start getting more brave and like showing up on Instagram. And I started teaching spray tanning with spray tanning class, and I just started really understanding like the back end of my business. And I started listening to podcasts and attending personal development classes and in-person trainings. And I started to have a little more faith
Mm,
in myself. And I started to realize that I couldn't do everything on my own.
yeah.
Yeah. And I started hiring like things that I really hated doing, like my bookkeeping,
Oh,
my
yeah.
accounting, some of the things that really didn't require my hands-on work, like responding to like comments on Instagram, scheduling my Instagram posts, communicating with our brides. Like I hired someone to take care of our bridal admin. So I started plugging in people who were really good at what they did and I really dreaded doing to
Mm,
kind of take some of that workload for me. And that's when I started to really see the numbers growing in my business because
mm,
we were able to like do so much more. We were like, as a team, now I have about 15 people on my team. We're able to accomplish like way more than like
yeah.
me, like trying to bang out all the duties, trying to respond to the emails, trying to do the marketing, trying to wear all the hats is like, no, like
Yeah.
it was no longer like, oh yay, I'm a business owner. It was just like I was just like a worker, like a slave
Right,
in my
right.
own
Yeah,
business.
right. Yeah, eventually but there's a bottleneck there, right? And you're the bottleneck of this in this situation, you were the bottleneck of like taking it to the next level. And like you said, I mean, you are running your own business when it's just you're a solopreneur and all that. But once you actually bring people in, fulfill these roles, have these procedures and automations and stuff, then you kind of takes that like, oh, this is a bit like I could step out for a time being at least and it would still flow, right? That is,
Yeah.
and essentially what a business would be. But it's hard for people to get that way, to get to that point, I think, because it is so much work behind the scenes. It's not the sexy stuff. People aren't posting this on Instagram and Facebook and all that.
We should
Yeah.
be, because this is
Yeah.
what it's about. I think people don't realize, and it can actually be sexy. It's
Yeah.
sexy when you see money going into your bank account
That's
while you're
true.
sleeping. That's
Uh,
sexy.
yeah, that is. That is. Yeah. But people don't want to learn how to set it up. No, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I would love to talk a little bit about that. I know we talked and you said, the automation piece and all these processes and stuff. That's where you really love to dive in and kind of make a difference in how you've seen the difference it makes for your business, right? So now you say, spread the word, people need to do this, you want to help educate people on these things, whatever that looks like. So I would love to learn about what the pieces of automation that you maybe started with. Obviously those things are going to keep getting more advanced the way AI and all this technology goes, and we're not trying to replace
Yeah.
humans, but certainly the mundane task that you'll forget to do or won't do, why not replace it with something that will automatically do it, right? So I'd love to learn about some of the automation pieces you have in place, you're working on, and those kind of things.
Totally. And I feel like it's kind of like a buzz slogan that I don't know if just because I'm in this, mindset and I'm seeing
Yeah.
it all over the algorithm,
Yeah.
but like
Seriously.
this working smarter, not harder. Right. So how can we figure out how to make that true for like ourselves? And I wanted to touch on that, like that loss of personalization or like AI, like that's the way things are going. And
Sure.
I think like a lot of people are scared to move in that direction because they think, oh, well, people are used to like hearing my voice or me picking up the phone or me sending them direct messages or me emailing them like a personalized whatever that
Yeah.
communication looks like for them. But I think that if we can just like move past that mindset and realize that we can still add that personalization, we can still include our voices. You have a great way where you have those videos. I think you called it video ask,
Yeah.
where it's like almost even more personalized
Yeah.
than something would be if you were to be responding to them directly via like a text message or something
Yeah.
like that. And what happens during sending, okay, you have a client, they ask you the same questions over and over and over. How do I book? Am I going to turn
Mm,
orange? I'm a bride. When should I get my spray tan? Whatever. All of the questions that we get asked over and over time as an artist, you get annoyed.
Yeah.
And you start to, as also, you've done it so much, then you start to assume people just have the answers already because you
Yeah.
do.
Because you know
And
it.
you put
Yeah.
it on Instagram, so you think that they've read it, but they haven't.
Yeah.
And so when you create these systems and this automation, you can actually take the time to think about what you want to say, the message
Mm.
that you want to share with somebody, and you can still use your tone. If your tone of your language of your business is casual, like, hey, babe, you can include that same, tone in your message and your communication. So
Yeah.
it's still, when people read it or they see the video or whatever it is, they still feel like it's you. You can
Sure.
include a picture with you waving hi, XO, whatever your brand is. Like, you can still include that personalization, but you can create it in a way that you do it once. And all you have to do is, maybe it's even so automated that they just type something in your DM and then you have it already, a response already created.
Yeah.
So it can be done in such a way that you don't lose that personalization and you're still able to answer the questions, because I say, like, about 95% of the time you already have answered that question before for
Mhm.
somebody. And if you haven't, now you have a new thing you can add to your automation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So I think we want to just first, like, realize that it doesn't have to be unpersonalized. And
Agreed.
number two, realize that actually you're creating a better experience for your clients by creating that consistency, something that's easy where they can book. If they work a night shift and they want to book at 5 o'clock in the morning when they get home
Yeah.
from work, it's fine because they can find that button and they can do it themselves. And they don't have to wait for your response because you're busy taking care of clients. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing I just want to, like, touch on.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a very good point. It's like people think that you lose a personalization, but it's not. It's more you probably get better experience because you sit down. I love sometimes just sit down with a piece of paper or the whiteboard and just look at, if somebody signs up for this, what does that experience look like? And then you can map it out. And to me, that's kind of fun to do. And then obviously you have to implement all those pieces, but it's like, they do this, and then what's the next question? One or two. They select that, and then what's the next question for that? So it's like thinking through these processes and what you can do, but that is fun. Anyway, let you get back to what you were saying there.
And, like, I think some people are not sure. Like, I remember when I first started creating content,
Yeah,
first started creating, like, my FAQs. I started Googling because, like, I didn't even know what to put in my own communication. So what I started to do, and it's a simple thing that anybody listening, if you don't have anything in place already, you can start by just saving a note on your phone. And every time somebody asks you a question, write the question in your phone. Just
yeah,
start by that. It's simple. Don't feel overloaded by all of the things that we're going to share, because we're going to share a lot of things and you might not be ready for all of those things
yeah,
yet. That's fine. Just start by saving those questions. And those questions can be used for so many different things. They can be used for Instagram lives. They can be used for IG posts. They can be used for blog content. They can be used for Google My Business content, for your website, for your FAQ documents, for videos, for YouTube, like, whatever. It can be
yeah,
used for everything, and it all can be repurposed. But first, start saving what those frequently asked questions or
yeah,
concerns are. Just start saving them. And then you can start going further into creating those systems and templates and automation to make those start working for you and helping you save time. So
yeah.
that's, like, my first tip for anybody that's like, oh my God, I don't know where to
Yeah,
start.
it's too much. Yeah, that's a very good tip. That's usually when people are trying to figure out what they should blog about. I'm like, what are the questions you get every day? There's your first blog, your second blog,
Yeah.
forever, right? Yeah.
And, like, it's
Great.
kind of unrelated, but, like, repurposing that content is such a time saver, because
Yeah.
that one question can be done on so many different ways that you don't have to keep recreating the wheel.
Yeah.
Just do the same thing over and over in a slight different variation, or put it on all these different platforms and it's going to work for you. So
Very true.
that's, like, my one tip. And the first thing that I probably did, and because I do train with spray tan class, I'm a master trainer, so I do in-person training.
Yeah.
And part of our program, we do include tips for business and business mentoring. And the first thing I recommend for people to do is to get a booking site. Just a
Mhm.
booking site, even before you get a website. I mean, I don't know, maybe you can speak, you're the expert on that, but I would
Sure.
say most people can set that up themselves. And there's usually, like, a low entry for, like, cost, right? Some
Yeah.
of them are free.
Fresher. Yeah, it's free. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I use Acuity, and there's a free version of that. So I would say at least just get a booking site. That's going to be the first thing that you can do that's pretty straightforward, that does allow automation, that allows people to book with ease, that you can add your FAQs or more information. You could add waivers on there, like all of the steps. For spray tanning, it's so easy. Other sides of our business are more complex, but
Mm.
with spray tanning, it's very simple. A booking system does a lot for
Oh
you.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook that, but I think, like you said, people want to schedule at their own time. They don't want to talk. They don't. People want to text, right? They don't even want to talk to people on the phone. It's like, just give me the link. Let me register on a time. I'll look at my calendar. I'll do that. Probably they're laying in bed or their kids taking a nap or whatever that looks like, right? They don't want to
Yeah.
have to figure out when to call and all that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
booking site, yeah, for sure, should be one of the first things you implement.
Yeah, totally. And I was gonna say something else about that too. Slipped my mind. If it comes back, I'll
Yeah,
I'll
that's
bring
fine.
it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, but I mean, then you can go down, yeah, whatever you want. I think that, the booking system opens that up. You said about the website. Obviously, they go hand in hand. Some of them have a website you can build, some of them don't. We obviously specialize in websites. We don't do the scheduling piece yet, but I think that, one or the other. I mean, if you have the website, some people are mobile, they might not be able to have a booking system. That depends on their, situation and scenario. So you have to think about that. But the scheduling software offloads a ton of time that you would otherwise spend communicating back and forth, right? So it's very good to have that. And like you said, there's free versions of almost all of them. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
remembered. You brought me
go
back to
for
my thought.
it.
So because I have a team of artists and
Yeah.
we wanted to have all of our appointments in the booking system where the
Mhm.
clients could auto book like any of our services. And some of the objections that I got from my team was, oh my God, like I don't want to put my whole life on Google. Like
Yeah.
that's too overwhelming. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to block off, like they didn't want to commit to putting their life in a calendar essentially, because
Yeah.
once you put your a booking system online, people can book you, right? So that is something that you have to, keep in mind, that you do have to stay on top of making sure that your availability matches what you're really
Yeah.
available or willing to do. Now
Yeah.
you have 100% control of that within the booking system, which is great. So if you don't want to work Sundays, if you don't, whatever, that's
Spread it
up
out.
to you, but you
Yeah.
do have to stay on top of that. And one thing that I found is some people feel like that maybe that's controlling their lives or something, but there's actually freedom in that because
Yeah.
you can plan and schedule, and not all people are schedulers, but really if you're trying to grow your business and you're still trying to cater to your clients, you have to have some kind of structure in
Oh,
place, and it will actually make you more efficient, and clients will be more likely to book if they know when you're available and they're able to find that
yeah.
nice and easy. So I think it's kind of just like part of the commitment that you have to make with yourself if you want to make that process nice and easy for your clients. And I do think that actually I love it now that it works in my favor because I know what days I want to work and what days I don't.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoy it. So I think people just like give it a try and see if it works. And
Absolutely.
I think it's just the way things are going. People kind of expect, like, if I don't see a booking site, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
I gotta reach out, email back and forth.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, I'm just gonna find it somewhere else. Like, so
Exactly.
for me, like that's my mindset. I don't know if that's everybody's. Sometimes people, some of my older clients get a little confused and they can't figure that out. We'll get on the phone, we'll walk them through it if
Mm.
needed. But for the average person, they're able to do it nice and
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
themselves.
Definitely. Definitely. So what other things are automated beyond the scheduling, which is obviously a huge time saver for you?
Yeah, well, like all of our email communication is all
Mm.
automated. Even simple things like text responses. So
Mm.
the shortcuts, if you have an iPhone, the shortcuts in your phone, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
You can just go onto your, I don't know if any other phone, so maybe you can Google it and see if
Shoot.
other, I'm
I'm
sure other
sure they
phones
all
have
do.
ways you can do
Yeah.
it. But say, for example, this actually learned from Stephanie, Spray Tans by Steph at Slay
Yeah.
the Spray last year. And this was a total game changer for me. When people text you or like or DM you, you can save a shortcut. So for an example, we have one that's just called tan inquiry, and it's two T's. So that way, when I type the word tan into my phone or onto my computer, because I have it synced, or onto my Instagram, an automated response automatically pops up that says like your regular, like, hey, thank you so much for your spray tan inquiry, like all of that like basic information that I can squeeze into like a nice short message with a video for them to watch more information about what
Mhm.
to expect with their spray tan, and then a link to book their spray tan below. So I literally have to type 2 letters, usually 3, TTA, and then it automatically pops up, and then it sends to them right away. So, and we have like a whole bunch of them saved, like aftercare. Even though we automate our aftercare, we also send text. We also automate our review asks. That's been really, really, really helpful. Honestly, everything. A lot of our marketing, like our email blast, is all automated. We use an extension called Zapier. So all of
Yeah.
our inquiries that come in through, or all of our bookings that come in through our booking site, and all of our inquiries that come in for our full service beauty business, we use Zapier to then integrate into our email system. So then they receive a sequence of emails inviting them back for services, giving them a promotion,
Sure.
keeping us top of mind. So like,
That's,
we do
yeah.
everything.
What do you use for email?
Yeah, we use MailerLite.
Okay, yeah, it's a great one. Yeah,
Yeah,
MailerLite's like Mailchimp, very similar. It's great. So for those of you that haven't heard of Zapier, it's Zapier. Basically, it connects two different applications and makes them talk. It saves a ton of development hours from that perspective. So it's pretty cool. You can say when this happens, trigger this. So when a new client's added to Pamela's thing, trigger this email sequence based on whatever that looks like. So super powerful. Again, these automations you do behind the scenes, it's not less personalized, it's actually more personalized. And you don't have to be like, oh, I forgot to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
I know, because we have a lot of things to remember.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
people think that we're like so on top of like, oh my God, I loved your email. And
Yeah.
people really review when you ask them.
Yeah.
Like they do. Like we get reviews almost at least once a week. We get a new review. We
Yeah.
have
That's great.
almost 200 5-star reviews right now.
It's amazing.
And that's only just because we automated and we asked them.
Yeah.
And we bribed them too. We bribed them. We
Shh,
give them a discount on a
don't tell
future gift.
Google. Don't tell Google.
Oh, is that illegal?
Yeah.
It's a
No.
gift. We gift them something.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's great. I mean, the automation piece is great. So let's you guys do right. You do weddings, full service. That's a lot of touch points, I'm assuming. So
Oh my
what
God.
is if I'm a prospective bride that I'm inquiring, what does that look like? What is that automation? Like, give me an example of what that automation would be for
Yeah.
them. If I'm sure you have it
So,
memorized.
well, actually, I don't do any of that, but I did help
Oh,
set up.
okay. Okay.
So we use a CRM called 17 Hats.
Yeah, it's great.
And that is a really robust platform that allows us to automate, well, not necessarily automate everything, but template
Yeah.
everything. So because we can't automate the whole process because there's so many moving parts when it comes to communication for our brides. We have
Mhm.
approximately 40 touch points, and that's typically over 6 to 9 month period
Wow.
with our client journey, I guess you would say.
Sure.
So it's actually amazing software because unfortunately it doesn't integrate with Acuity.
Sure.
So that is
Of
a pain
course.
point for me.
Yeah, of course.
But they're kind of separate in terms of the back end of our business because our spray tanning stuff is all automated. I don't have an admin that takes care of that at all. It's all automated.
Okay.
Where the bridal stuff, even though a lot of our brides do get spray tans, but the bridal stuff is run by we have a coordinator, like a manager, who takes care of all of that admin
That
for
makes
us.
sense. Yeah.
So basically what we do when they fill out a form online, they automatically receive a response that has some information about our services. I'm going to ask them to fill out a questionnaire where they provide all of the relevant details that we need in order to get a quote out to them.
Yeah.
They get a video that comes from me and, talking about the services, about our business. And then it kind of goes step by step. We get a contract out to them. We have communication with our team to book our team. We have all of our emails templated, all of our FAQs templated. Like basically every document is all templated. It's all attached into the communication, all the different variations that might happen throughout the
Mm.
process. And we also use Trello to cover our SOP. So SOP is just like the processes that we follow in our
Yep.
business. So if that specific structure isn't working exactly based on that client's needs, Crystal, our admin, can go into the Trello, look at the different steps that she can follow, and then she plugs and plays those that we have already in there. So we have that build, but sometimes it's not perfect based on the
Sure.
circumstances. So we have like, if this happens, this is what we do. Because with brides,
It's
you get
unique.
drama sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm sure
So
it's
we
more
have all
unique. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
different
so we have
situations.
like an
Yeah.
18-page policy that we refer to if this happens or that happens or this happens with the team. This is how we deal with this, and this is our policies and processes. So
Yeah.
having this document and policies, and also the structure of how you choose to deal with different situations and scenarios in your business are great, because those problems or whatever hurdles that happen in your business can be very draining
Yeah.
and time consuming.
For
To
sure.
like, oh my God, what do we do if the hairstylist cancels 24 hours before the wedding and the bride's already paid and she was booked a year ago? Okay,
Yeah.
this is what we do. We follow XYZ. So we have it all kind of predetermined, so we don't have to think as much. We just like do it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of sitting down for a week or two and writing all this stuff out, right? You revisit it, fine tune it, but once you get it all out of your head, it's great to do that and just think through the process, as we said earlier. So that, that's a little bit more unique. So for, let's say somebody's booking a spray tan, that's all automated as well through, obviously they register, or excuse me, schedule via Acuity. And then like, what happens after that?
Yeah, so in the spray tan, they just go ahead and book the appointment, and then they're going to receive an automatic email that goes right into their inbox that gives them a link to add to their calendar, whatever calendar they have.
Yep.
It has a link to a video with instructions on specifically how to prep, so a video that we created. And it also has a link to the tanning waiver, so the waiver that they have to fill out. And then
Yeah.
we do reiterate some key information just in case they don't watch the video,
Sure.
key information that they need, like what to wear, those little details that would be a make or break. Like, we want their tanning experience to be good. So that's
Sure.
included in the email. They also receive an appointment reminder where they have the option to cancel or reschedule, and our policies are also listed on the booking page, and they have to create a little check mark to approve that they've read those. So for those people that decide to come late or cancel, or they want to reschedule, our policies all on there. And if ever they're like, oh, well, I didn't know that, well, everything was there and you checked off on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
no
did.
excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
24 hours after an email goes out, asking them how their experience was and asking them for a positive 5-star review with a gift.
Very good. And all that's automated.
It's
Zapier,
all
mail. That's
automated.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
It's
do
great.
text our clients that are either brand new
Mm,
or that are trying something new, or maybe something didn't go perfect last time, and we shoot them a follow-up to say, hey, we did this differently this time. How did you like XYZ?
yeah.
So we do still have that personal component that we text to those specific clients. And of course, we make notes on their file. So if I'm spraying, or I have 2 other girls that spray with me, if
Yeah.
Samantha or Rabina's spraying, they can just quickly look at the file and see, okay, we did whatever solution last time, one coat, she didn't want to spray her face, we did contour on it, whatever.
Yeah.
So that is like another really important thing about having a booking system, I think,
Okay.
is that experience, especially if you have a team member, or if you're like me and you just can't remember. I'm like, I sprayed 15 people today. Like, I
Yeah. I
don't
don't remember.
remember what I sprayed on you 6
Sure.
months ago.
Sure. That's a very good point. And you mentioned experience, and I think we've done an episode talked about that, emailed about that, the whole customer experience, not customer service. Customer service is when something goes wrong or there's a challenge, but customer experience is like, what is it like for somebody that's signing up? You want to make sure all those touch points are good. Like you said with the bride, there's 40 touch points or whatnot. All those need to be good. They need to be at the right time. There's all these things to think about. And sometimes you've scheduled an appointment. Maybe I've scheduled one for a haircut and I don't hear anything else about it. I don't know anything else. And then it's like, even though it's pretty simple, they're still like, no, show up, add us to your calendar. These simple things. It's like, we need to know that, especially with the tan. Like I love the video idea. I tell everybody, do a video, people can read if they want. You can do a transcript, but at least do a video. People would rather just watch it. Send them to a page. Thank you page. Here's the video. Pamela makes it once. It lives there forever. Right. And then thousands of clients see it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I want to just touch on the video thing too, because I think a lot of people are scared to put themselves out there on a
Yeah.
video. Like, I was speaking to a spray tan artist via DM the other day, and I send voice notes because I feel like it's easier and it's a little bit
Right.
more personalized. And she said, oh, I don't want to respond back because I don't like the sound of my voice. And I was like, oh my God, I used to feel the same way. I wouldn't even listen to my own voicemail on my cell phone because I thought I had a bad voice or I sounded. And Kelly Callahan, the owner of Spray Tan Class and X Tan Sunless, when I met her, the first time I met her, I did her makeup and she said, "Oh, let's record this." And I was like, "Fine, but don't make me talk it. I only want to see the back of my head." Like that was 3.5 years ago. So
That's funny.
it just, she forced me to show up on video. She's like, "If you want to be on the team, you have to make videos for YouTube."
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Like I was terrified.
Yeah.
I suck. I still stumble my words. I still feel like I look awkward, like whatever. But this is how I am in real life too. So
Yeah.
people seem to like me when I do their spray tans, when I do their makeup. They don't tell me I'm awkward or don't come back because they don't like the sound of my voice.
Yeah. Agreed.
So like
It
it is
is.
all in my head.
It's one of those things you got to get the practice, right? Once you start doing it, it's great. I mean, we've done 130 plus episodes on here. I still stumble. We don't like to edit. Like occasionally somebody will goof and we'll edit it out. But I like the more natural is so much better. Like it's a quick video. People ask on our website. There's a little video thing you can ask a question. I'll send a video back. Sometimes I like I just got done running or I'm holding the dog or who cares? Whatever. People want to see the personality and all that stuff. So it's great, but I agree. And you got to practice. You got to get your feet wet, then you're good.
Right. You just got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like if I probably look back on some of those first
Oh,
videos I
yeah.
created, they were so bad. And like hopefully I'll in 5 years from now, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna say, wow, I've come a really long way. So it's
Yeah.
just like anything, you probably weren't the best at spray tanning when you started. You probably
Nope.
made somebody's legs orange. It happens.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's funny. You got to do it. Like when you sign up for Happytans, the video welcoming you, I did maybe 6 years ago. I haven't changed it or looked at it since, but it's there and people watch it and it's
Yeah, and
great.
I loved it. I sent you a message. I was like, that's great. Like I love
Yeah.
the videos and the automation that you have.
Yeah.
So
That's so
I didn't
fun.
notice anything weird. So
I was a bit younger then, so
right.
less great, less
We'll keep
gray
that.
hair.
We'll keep that video up then.
Awesome. So yeah, these are some great automation pieces. I mean, anything else you wanted to touch on that side of things, or any other,
Mm, what else could I think of? Even just like if you're starting to outsource or hire team members,
yeah,
kind of touching on that SOP a little bit more in order to have a great experience for your clients. I think a lot of people are scared to bring artists in. One, like a trust factor, but two, are they going to do a good job? Are they going to be able to spray like I sprayed? So having like something, for example, my artists were doing great, but they were sucking. I hope they don't listen. I suck at sales too, really, when it comes to retail. But I've learned to do it because I worked in retail for a few years. So
yeah,
I've learned to carry products that I really love, and it's easy for me to talk about. But they were having a little hard time selling them. Hey guys, like I want to see those retail commissions, like on your invoices. Like what's going on? Like we have a lot of great products. You guys have used them. Like we got to start. This is enhancing the client's experience. We got to start selling it. And so I realized like they really needed some more support with the selling piece. So instead of me bringing them in and individually training them, I created a document, I did a Loom video over it, and then I uploaded it to the Trello where I have like a spray tan team account on Trello. And then they're responsible to just go in there and follow that and look at it. And so providing those kind of pieces again, created one time, and maybe I have more artists that join my team eventually, or maybe Rabina was on mat leave recently, and so I had to bring somebody else in. So instead of having to do that training over and over, we have it in there once, they get their access to log in, boom, they watch the video, they're good to go. So I think it's just like all about thinking about ways that you can do something one time that can be repurposed or used over and over again. So if you think about it, it's really like all aspects of your business. Client booking, text and phone communication, content creation, like you could be batch working, planning in advance, repurposing. We put all of our stuff like on Google Docs, and then my social media manager pushes it all out for me. So I know that I don't have to be posting it at 1 p.m. today because that's what my algorithm said is the best time for me to post. Because I just scheduled it all. I put it all in the back end in a spreadsheet, and she did it for me, and she scheduled it and she put it all out there. So
it's great.
Just like everything, the content creation, staff marketing, like all of those back end pieces of your business really could have or include some component of templating, automation, or some kind of structure in place that really is like a time saver, increases like your client happiness, and also just a better overall like way to run your business.
It is. It is. I mean, ultimately, as you grow, you want that consistency, right? And that's really the only way to do it. I mean, if you look at I mean, in the U I don't know if they have it in Canada, right? Chick-fil-A or something like that, like In-N-Out Burger, like, they got these processes down and you can't mess with it, and it is ironclad. Plug anybody in there, it doesn't matter, it's good to go, right? I just restaurant examples are easier, but same, get the process in, bring the people in, it works, but yeah, sit down there, do it once, use it for a million times, that's the beauty of it, for sure.
Yeah, it's like that's how you start to duplicate yourself. That's
Yeah,
how, like a clone.
yeah,
You can train people. Obviously, you're you. You can't
yeah,
change people's personalities, but
yeah,
you can train people to do things the way that you do it because you've built your business, you grew your baby, and now you're ready to take a next step,
yeah,
maybe, and or you're wanting to. So start putting these things in place now as soon as you
mm,
can. And then when you are feeling overwhelmed or you're busy or you want to go away or you have a baby or whatever life throws your way, it will be a way easier, way less stressful. Crystal, our beauty admin, unfortunately was sick and she was in the hospital and she's going to be off for a couple months coming up. We have everything already in a system.
right.
She was off. I had 1 day's notice. Okay, let me get in there, do this. I had another girl on my team who's been helping out here and there. She was able to log in, and between her and I, nobody knew
Yeah,
that shit was going
yeah,
downhill on the back end.
smoothly, yeah,
We're able to keep things rolling smoothly, and it's way less stressful because it's
yeah.
just you just follow it. So it's
Yeah.
really,
And
really
and
nice.
what yeah, one thing I thought of as you said that, I was like, and you can really set yourself apart. Like we believe, having a good website, something that's professional sets you apart. Credibility goes up. It's great. These automation pieces are amazing. But from various services we've scheduled, maybe somebody come in to look at the yard to fix something or this and that. There's so many pieces missing in that loop. Like how many times are we following up with somebody because they didn't tell us X, Y, and Z? We didn't get an email. We didn't know this. There was no communication. It was a text because there's so many ways to reach people now, right? But that lack of communication. So that experience again, once you do this is so much better. Somebody could go to Pamela, option A, option B. That experience is completely different. The whole thing, even if the tan is the same quality, it's going to feel so much better
Yes.
there. So
Yes. And my husband always he always nags me because I'm like, oh, like we have a cleaning crew that comes in and does like a
sure.
deep clean for us. And I'm always like, oh, she should use a booking site. Oh, she doesn't even have a website. Oh, she doesn't have this automated. How come? And my husband's like, stop trying to fix everybody's
I
business. I'm
know.
like, well, this is such a great idea. She should do this instead.
I know. I got the same bug in my head. Don't worry about it. You want to help everybody, right? Yeah, I get
I'm like, oh,
it.
it'd be so much better. I'm like, what time did they say they were coming? She didn't even let me know what time they're
I
coming. I'm like,
know.
I
Exactly.
so yeah, I'm always just like looking at ways that in my business that we can make things more efficient, more productive,
Yeah.
more professional. I think you're like you touched on that so like nicely, and that's one thing that I always like we have pride in our service. We want to do a good job. We want the clients to feel comfortable. We want them to feel confident and happy, and we want our
Yeah.
space to be clean and to smell good and to have nice music in the background, and we have all these things. We want the best lighting. We want the newest spray tan solutions. But does your reputation of everything awesome that you do precede you
Yeah.
in your
Right.
communication, on your Instagram, on your website, on your booking site? Because now there's like this disconnect and people will be less likely to book you, even though you're awesome, because they can't tell online
Yeah.
based on your communication because you took 6 hours to respond because you were spray tanning back to back
Yeah.
because you didn't have something in place.
Yeah.
So like
This-
just dedicate even an hour, close your books. If you normally start at 10, start at 11. If you normally start at 10, start an hour early. Dedicate an hour each
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
to start figuring these things out and
Yeah.
start or hire someone if you can afford to.
Yeah.
Go
No.
on Upwork and just hire someone to do it.
People love this stuff. Yeah. And it's like anything you do more than once can either be automated or there can be some kind of SOP created for it. Right. That's what I try to remember. Like, oh, I've typed this email before. Why don't I just make it a template? Then I just type it in, send it off. It's easy. And those might
Right.
not be automated, but it certainly saves me 2 minutes every time I do that email. So thank you.
Right. And if you
Yeah.
use Gmail, they have a free feature.
I know. It's
They even
great.
have Boomerang, an extension you can add to send it later. Like there's so
Yeah.
many things. Like maybe you can only do emails between 5 and 10 p.m., but that's not your business hours. And you don't want people to think you're actually
Yeah.
responding in that time. So
Yeah.
schedule it to go out during your business hours. So just
We do the
these tiny
same
little
thing. Yeah.
things that make it like look more professional, even if we don't actually have
Yeah.
boundaries. Sometimes we gotta hustle, you know,
Yeah,
we gotta
yeah.
work more.
There's a great email tool for the actual and emails that people can look up. We use one called Missive app, Missive app. And it like because we do a team thing, so everybody can see all the emails. We can communicate internally, but the client doesn't see it. We can reply, keep communication, templates, send later, all these things. It's great, but something for people to look into.
Oh, I love
Pamela,
that.
yeah,
I'll have to
Pamela,
look
we've been
into
going.
that.
I know, yeah, it's great, and it's relatively affordable. But this has been a great episode. Is there anything that you're excited about or working on right now that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so I've been stepping back from taking services and just helping my team and working on all of the back end things. And what I've come to realize by being in different communities and groups and
Yeah,
Facebook groups and chats and networking events is we didn't learn this stuff in beauty school. And this is a really, really, really important part of filling that gap,
yeah,
missing that, putting those pieces together, that missing puzzle piece for people to understand that yes, it's not sexy, but all of these components in the back end, marketing, customer service, customer retention, lead generation, all these different parts, the back end of the business are so important. And that if we're willing to dedicate a little bit of time, we could really see our business grow, find more time freedom, but still make more money. So actually, I'm going to be launching a course. It's happening November 20th, and it is a live training. It's a 4-week program, and there will be some bonuses
that's
that are
awesome.
in there. So live training, as well as coaching, mentoring, and of course, there will be some at-home assignments so we can start implementing so many things that we're going to learn together as a community. And of course, we do have that community aspect. It's going to be a small group of women entrepreneurs, beauty entrepreneurs, I should say, and we're going to be working together to
Mm,
start achieving some of those goals and putting some of these ideas, systems, and policies into place into our business so that we can start to see more free time and grow our business. And ultimately, let's be real, we all want to make more money.
yeah, there you go.
6 figures should not be something that's unattainable, even
Yeah.
as a spray tan artist. It's doable. I've been able to do it. So I'm just excited to help people start to achieve those goals and work with women one-on-one and just have a really great time and see everybody's success
Yeah.
in their beauty business.
Well, that's awesome. You have a wealth of knowledge. You've been doing this for, 14, 15 years. You've taken it from like side hustle, literally part-time to getting thrown to the wolf, so to speak. And then now you're at this next point where you've elevated it. You've put on all these automation pieces. I mean, that's a wealth of knowledge to share with people. If they want to find out more, what's the best way to find out more information? And we can link it also in the show notes.
Yeah, sure. You can hit up probably the best way just to hit me up on Instagram, Priceless Beauty Gram, or my website, priceless-beauty.com.
Yeah,
And you
that's
can
great.
find more information about that if you just want to ask questions. We also have a free training, Google My Business, something
Mm.
that you are great and have taught me a lot about as well. So we share just some tips on how to use Google My Business to start generating more leads. It's a
Yeah,
number one lead source, and it's so easy to
love
use,
it.
and it's really unused for some strange reason. We think Instagram when we think lead generation, but Google is a really great tool. So if you want that free
Yeah.
training, just shoot me a message on Instagram and I'll be happy to send that to you as well.
That's great. Yeah, Google's a great thing. We released a tool recently called Sinista that helps you manage and get more reviews. That's one of the reasons we did it. We know how powerful it is. It allows you to automate some of that. There's text message, emails, QR codes, all that, but you can manage it, reply to them. It's pretty cool. You can do AI replies. You don't have to actually reply. It'll generate an AI response. Yeah. But those reviews are huge. I mean, they're like you said, the number one source. Most people have the hardest problem asking. So we're like, how can we overcome this? So the tools there, they can definitely check that out. But this has been great. Pamela, thank you for joining us. So people can reach out to you on Instagram. We'll link all that
Absolutely.
stuff below. The last question I always ask is if you could write a letter to yourself when you were just starting out, what would you say?
Oh gosh, what would I say to myself? I would say that the best bet is to bet on yourself.
Mm, that's
You
right.
have to
Nobody's
just believe in yourself, because when you think about having a job or job security, or it's nothing is ever guaranteed. The
yeah.
only thing you really have control over is how you respond and what you get up and decide to do each day. So your best bet is just to bet on yourself.
So true. I was just read an email earlier about kind of the true things about money. I don't know, it was like 13 things about money, and one of them was like a job is not safer than owning your own business, right? Because it's not that way. At any point, you are essentially a number to those people. That is what it is, especially as the corporations get larger. But that's so true. Bet on yourself. Nobody's here to save you. Unfortunately, there's people that can certainly help you, like Pamela and some other people, but you got to fight for yourself, right? You got to fend for
Yeah,
yourself, which is great. Awesome.
totally.
Very good, Pamela. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. I
Thank
look forward to
you.
seeing you in about a month. This
Yes,
podcast will air
so
around that time.
excited.
So yeah, we'll be in LA enjoying Slay the Spray and all the wonderful people there. So thanks so much again for joining. And I hope you
Thanks,
have a great day.
guys.
Happy
You
tanning.
too. Thanks, guys.